a recording. I want to welcome everyone to our Agri-Best Feeds evening here and our webinar. We're going to be focusing on true feed efficiency, how cattle perform better on less forage. And as we go through this, I want to bring your attention to just a couple of different things. First off, on your screen, there's a number of things that you have. As you can see, up in your up across the top of your screen, you have a hand there where you can actually raise your hand or clap or put a thumbs up, do whatever you want to, and we'll be able to call on you. For instance, I see right now, Bob Dimmereth, your hand's up, and if you have any questions, you can put those down in the, let me get my spotter here, sorry about this. Down in the chat area, you can chat and ask questions, and we'll get to those here when we get to the question and answer time. And if you do want to communicate to talk on your, to ask a question live, you can go up to your Start tab, and under your audio details, there's a telephone number you can dial in with a passcode, and you can just fill that in, and you'll be able to communicate live on that, and I'll be able to connect with you. This evening, we don't have Russell Mills with us, so I will kind of be doing double duty. I'll do a little introduction and then do the presentation here. So anyway, we are super excited to be with you. We're going to have a main presentation, and then we'll take question and answers. We do have Dr. Abe Schaefer on the line with us this evening as well, and excited to have him, and we'll get some of his comment and feedback here in just a bit. So as I said, tonight we're going to be talking about true feed efficiency, how and why cattle are performing better on less forage through the SweetPro and Redmond products. Our three-part goal here at Agri-Best Feeds, first is that animal health and performance. What's best for that animal and how can we get the best performance out of them. Secondly is forage utilization. What we're looking to do is maximize the forage that you have, whether it is standing grass or hay, and convert that to meat and milk. And then thirdly is producer profits. How can we make sure that we impact the bottom line positively for our producers? And so when these three things are in line, we feel like we have a great product and a great situation. I want to look at the net day cost on utilizing the SweetPro. I'll give you a couple of different shots here. This is the Agri-Best Feeds website. And I'm going to go over to the cattle tab, and that should come up. And then, let's see, I guess I'm not sure if I can highlight this, but what I'm doing is the net day cost when feeding SweetPro is what I'm going to be doing, and that's where you can find that on your on the website. You can download this and be able to utilize it. So I'm going to run over and pull this up. And just waiting for that to come up on my other computer. I'm not sure if that's coming up. Okay, I'm just doing some checking here. Okay, I'm going to try to do this a little differently. There we go. I got it to come up now. Sorry about that. What I want to do is look at this the cost of SweetPro for a 250-pound block, depending on where you're at throughout our region, the block costs somewhere around that $110, and that'd be on a pallet price in the Zone 2 area. So Zone 1 would be a little bit less than that. Zone 3 would be a little bit more. And if you're getting semi-load prices or truckload pricing, it would be a little bit less than that as well. But for this example, I want to stick with $110 per block. And our consumption on SweetPro, we look at consumption between 3/4 of a pound and 1 1/4 pounds per head per day. And in this example, the cost of the SweetPro is 44 cents per day. So that's the cost of the supplement. But one of the cool things about SweetPro is not only is it a supplement, but it actually helps extend your grass. So on mature cattle, average score on a maintenance ration with decent quality forage, we're seeing that cattle will reduce on their own the consumption of forage by up to 25%. And so what this example is showing us is that reducing, if a cow would averagely eat 30 pounds per head per day, a 25% reduction would be a 7.5 pound reduction, and therefore your hay savings is actually 47 cents of hay savings. And I'll scroll down here just a little bit to get the bottom on there for you, and that's showing your net day cost for all of your supplement, your vitamin, mineral, your protein supplement, everything combined actually has a net day cost of putting about 3 cents in your pocket per head per day. Now this is figuring $125 hay, and we know that $125 hay is not very realistic. Hay costs are more around the 180 to 200. Talking with a guy from Wyoming where he was talking about really poor quality hay coming in at 180. He said decent hay is running about 250. So if I change that cost per ton up to say let's go $200, what that hay savings actually does is puts about 31 cents per head per day in your pocket. So by using the SweetPro, you're actually saving money and actually putting more money back in your pocket. So pretty exciting. This is something that you can work with and download this and kind of play around with the different things to see how that impacts your bottom line. Now, one of the things that a lot of the molasses blocks do is they actually stimulate appetite. So the concept there is they'll get more dry matter in, and the cattle will perform better. But if that's the case, you're going to need to look at this part, and instead of subtracting hay savings, you'll have to add extra for the hay that you're purchasing, or that the extra hay or forage that those cows are eating. So this is a great little tool that you can use. Once again, it's on our website. If you go to agribestfeeds.com on the cattle tab under the net day cost when feeding SweetPro profit blocks. So as we jump into it this evening, we want to look at a couple of things. First off, your hay, your forage, your grasses, they have different nutritional needs that the animal needs. You've got your proteins in there, your energy, trace minerals, vitamin minerals. All of that is in your hay. You need always good quality, clean water in front of your animals all the time. We're going to focus on this, and at some point, your quality of your forage actually drops such that you need to add a supplement. So you need to add energy or protein or some sort of vitamin minerals. And SweetPro is an excellent supplement that adds those things and fills in kind of the gaps. One of the things that is unique to SweetPro, or very exciting about SweetPro, is not only does it fill in the gaps as a supplement, but it also extends your grass. So on this example, you can see where we've done is taken the TDN, your total digestible nutrients of this grass. We supplement it, so fill in the gaps, but then we also extended, so the total digestible nutrients of this forage now is responding like 60 TDN instead of 50. We're getting about 25% more digestible nutrients out of the forages. And we recommend having the Redmond Natural Trace Mineral Salt out on the side. It's an incredible natural mined sea salt, has 60 plus naturally occurring trace mineral, which provides an incredible trace mineral tune-up, and it's excellent salt and kind of a safety net for all the animals' mineral needs. So as we look at this, we have a great supplement, but not only a supplement, we have a forage extender, and not only forage extender and supplement, but it's also an excellent insurance policy filling in the gaps that we may not even know are there in our animals. So our target is the digestive system. We're looking for a healthy digestive system. If we want to feed the microbes in the room and the fiber digesting bacteria, get them as healthy and effective and efficient as possible. And when that happens, all of the other systems of the body kind of fall into place. So your reproductive system, your immune system, all of these different systems are able to work efficiently and effectively as well. And therefore, bottom line, we end up with healthier profits at animal health and performance. What I want to do now is just build a SweetPro block for you so that you have an idea of what goes into the SweetPro. This is a high-tech nutrition and low-tech dispenser. So we start out with the excellent vitamin mineral trace mineral package. About 50% of the minerals in this are chelated, broken down outside the body, so they're very bioavailable for the animal. Then we put it on a carrier of a distiller's grains carrier, both dry distiller's grains with solubles and condensed distiller solubles. The big thing about this is that it is a complex carbohydrate as opposed to a starch or sugar, so it lines up better with your forages. The same microbes that break down your forages break down distiller's grains. And actually, distiller's grains are pre-digested at the ethanol plant, so the very excellent product for cattle, whether it's feedlot cattle or range cattle. Very good source of protein, energy, vitamin, minerals, all sorts of things that are coming in. It's a multifaceted supplement, and that's what our carrier is. Now, we do have in some of our products a non-protein nitrogen of biuret and ammonium sulfate. There's no urea in all of our there's no urea in any of our products, so that they're totally safe for horses. Now, what really separates us from everyone else on the marketplace is our golden nugget, we call it, of probiotin. It's a digestive aid. It's fermented wheat, oats, barley, and flax. It gives you a very wide amino acid profile, your building blocks of protein. And another incredible thing when we start to look at the digestive aid part of it is it's bringing in live yeast and enzymes that help your cow break down that forage even better. So an incredible product, high-tech nutrition in a low-tech dispenser. Now we add to that. There is salt in the SweetPro, but we recommend having salt out on the side, and we really recommend having the Redmond Natural Trace Mineral Salt. It's a balance of 60 plus naturally occurring minerals in crystalloid form, and so very good product for your animals as well. So this is our complete nutrition program. We take your forage, what you have, either what you're raising or your hay that you've purchased, add the SweetPro, and the SweetPro does, if you're running a total mixed ration, does also come in a granular form called Fresh Start. take your forage plus SweetPro plus the Redmond, either in block form or in loose form. That's your complete balanced ration. And what we're seeing on that is we're getting 25% more digestible energy, protein, and other nutrients from your forage. That's improved digestion. That's true feed efficiency. I want to take a look at the rumen real quick and just to see what's going on inside that rumen. As you see on the left side over here, your pH down at the bottom is a pH of 5. This healthy optimum rumen pH for forage fermentation is between 6 and 6.5. If it gets down below that, you get into that unhealthy area where you start to lose some efficiencies. You get into subacute acidosis, and if you get down too low, you get a sick animal. Now, in the past, we've added energy through adding grains and molasses, starches, simple sugars. In and of itself, that naturally pulls down on your pH. That pull down on the pH is what's known as the negative associative effect. That's the negative effect of starch digestion on fiber digesting bacteria in the rumen. You lose some digestive efficiency, and there's different bugs, different microbes that are breaking down your starches and sugars, and then you end up with some competition there in the rumen. So once again, decreased digestive efficiency. Of course, we all know if you get too much starch too fast, your animal goes off feed, and we definitely don't want that to happen. Something that's very interesting, down here when the pH goes down below 6, down to that 5, 5.5 area, that's where your infections and your pathogens really like to live, and that's their right environment. And they have kind of the upper hand when it gets down in there. If you can keep your pH up above 6 to 6.5, you can basically competitively exclude many of the pathogens by just simple environment of what's going on there in the rumen. Now, when we add SweetPro, we add energy through a complex carbohydrate, and SweetPro has a high pH and actually pulls up on your pH. Not only does it pull up on your pH, it's the same digestive bugs that break SweetPro down, and so there's no competition in the rumen. As a matter of fact, there's no negative associative effect, but there's actually a positive associative effect, and I'll show you a picture of that here in a moment. So that's the cattle, the rumen on a cow. I just want to show you this slide real quickly for those of you who are horse owners, just to show you that the horse's digestive system is a little bit more complex, but back here when you look at the cecum, almost identical, very similar, and the issues, if the pH isn't way up at that 6 to 6.5, the issues that you can find in the horse. The big thing on a horse is that they break down their feedstuffs very acidically as it comes into the stomach and then enzymatically, and you've got a very short amount of time to really pull up on the pH. And so that's one of the reasons why you've got to be very careful not to get any starches or sugars back into the cecum on a horse. We can visit more about that later if there's anybody that has questions on that. Now I just take a little bit different approach or different look at the rumen. This is a rumen with foraging grass, and these little yellow donuts looking like things are representing microbes, and they're the same microbes that break down SweetPro as that break down your forages. Now when we add SweetPro, there's a positive associative effect. Notice the number of bugs, of microbes, positive forage digesting bacteria, that increase when we add the SweetPro. So not only are we, the number of microbes are greatly multiplying, but keeping that pH up, when we talked about that on a few slides ago, keeping that pH up actually puts the right environment for them to multiply, and SweetPro has in it what's called prebiotic oligosaccharides, which is a big word basically for food for those microbes. So they've got the right environment, they've got the right food, they multiply, and actually the absolute best source of protein for cattle is microbial protein. So when these little guys are spent, they're a very excellent protein source for cattle. Now we also put Redmond natural trace mineral salt on the side. The 60 plus naturally occurring trace minerals also improves the health of these little microbes, gives them all the things that they need to be healthy little organisms, which help break down the forages better, which helps the cow get the nutrients they need for meat and milk production and overall health, and that bottom line hits and improves the rancher's bottom line. As a result, we're seeing forage digestion and feed efficiency increase by up to 25%. Pretty exciting stuff. Now we're going to take a look at the same slide, same rumen, but look at if we add molasses or grains, there is different microbes that break those down, and so you end up with some decreased digestive efficiency. That's the negative associative effect, and not that it's bad, you just lose some efficiencies. Now as we move forward, I want to just kind of look at a couple of things on how to feed SweetPro. We have an excellent program that will work in virtually every situation. First off, we get the right block, the right tub for the right amount of cattle. We're looking at one block per 25 head, and then depending on the quality of your grass, if your grass is or hay is real green, real high quality, you'll use a softer block, and if it's harder, more bitter, dry grass or hay, you use a harder block. Right now, the majority of what we're selling throughout Montana, Wyoming, and Nebraska is the Fibermate 20s on mature cattle. On replacement heifers and things like that, will be down on the 16s. The key on this is that we're looking for a consumption rate of between 3/4 of a pound and 1.25 pounds. When the grass is nice and green and the cattle are really liking the grass, we still want to get 3/4 of a pound at least of the SweetPro into them, so that they'll be able to maximize the use of the nutrients in that good grass. So we go with a little bit softer block. When the grass isn't tasting so good, or the hay's kind of stemmy and cows aren't enjoying that very much, we want to go with a little harder block to encourage them to go back onto that hay and once again get more value out of that forage. Now if a cow overeats on the SweetPro, it's no problem as far as there's no negative effect on their health. It's just kind of a negative effect on the producer's pocketbook. So that's where we want to keep that consumption somewhere in that range of 3/4 of a pound and 1.25 pounds. Now how we accomplish that, first off, is getting the right block for the right situation, like we found on the last page. And then we want to decide on a feeding program. How much do we want our cattle to eat? So if we've got average cows, average condition, average forage quality, we'll probably want to shoot somewhere right around that average of SweetPro consumption, about 1 pound per head per day. Now if we've got really poor quality forage, our cattle need to be pushed along a little bit, we'll go down to 1 pound or up to 1.25 pounds of consumption, which would be about an 8-day supply. One block would last 25 cows 8 days. And then if we feel that we've got above average forage, our cows are in really good shape, and we want to cut back on the SweetPro a little bit, we can go down to 3/4 of a pound. We do want to keep Redmond salt in front of them all the time. But this is how keeping the daily consumption right on target. It's called space feeding or interval feeding. So you put your SweetPro block out on day 1, keep Redmond out in front of them all the time, and then you just watch the block, and depending on whatever day it empties, you just simply don't put another block out until day 10. This would be an example that we're trying to feed them 1 pound per head per day. Now, we recommend no more than 5 days without supplementation. That's because we're feeding the microbes in the rumen, and we'll start to lose some digestive efficiency on that. But a cow, the way God's designed them and created them, they're able to take on a protein load. They're able to take on a mineral load and utilize it over time. We just need to keep the fresh water in front of them, keep their forage in front of them, and of course the Redmond salt, and then just simply use this integral or space feeding to fine-tune your feeding right into exactly what you're wanting. And we're seeing incredible results on this, and this helps economically. You can budget exactly what you're wanting your supplement cost to be, and we're seeing some very good results on the health and benefits on those cattle as well. So that kind of wraps up the SweetPro side of things. I want to just look real quickly at the Redmond Natural Trace Mineral. There's 2 or 3 things I want to just highlight here, and then we'll get into some question and answer times and hear from Dr. Abe Schaefer, our panelist. But I just wanted to introduce this. On the Redmond side, there's basically 2 products. One is the Redmond Natural Trace Mineral. These minerals it's a mined sea mineral. There's over 60 minerals that are in there, over 80 if you, depending on how fine your equipment goes to test those. And they're all in crystalloid form, and they're in their natural balance. And there's some great benefit about that. It comes in a 44-pound pressed block, or it comes in a loose mineral salt, so like a 50-pound bag, or we have it in totes, or we can get it in bulk as well. The other product that we have is a volcanic ash, which is a conditioner. It has 50-plus naturally occurring trace minerals in that, and it's a colloidal mineral. So the crystalloid is the most bioavailable, penetrates through plant and animal membranes very easily. Colloidal is a very good mineral source as well. The big thing about this is synergy. Synergy is the interaction of 2 or more elements so that their combined value is greater than the sum of their individual values. So if you look at the guarantee analysis, and if anybody wants that, I do have a slide later on where I can pull that up. But the guaranteed analysis, there's not very much of any of these minerals, just small quantities of them. But when consumed together in that crystalloid form, is having very, very good results. It's much like an apple, and all the phytonutrients and things in the apple performs very well, even though they're just little bits of different nutrients and minerals in them. The natural trace mineral salt will enhance any feed program and all livestock. It impacts the health in a positive way. Great on the mineral side, that once again, that safety net and filling in the gaps that we know are there or may not know are there. Excellent insurance, and then performance is maximized. This is just an example on the cost side of things on utilizing the Redmond mineral salt. And this particular slide is just on if somebody's, like during the summer, using a loose mineral. And I do want to note on the SweetPro side, we do have a great mineral that's in a block form so that the wind doesn't blow it away and the weather doesn't bother it. So that's something else we can visit about. But on the, this is figuring just a bagged mineral, figuring your basic white salt at $5 per bag, and 4 ounces of mineral at $24 a bag, and we have basically 13 cents per cow per day on the mineral program, salt mineral program. When we add the Redmond salt, you notice that the cost is $3.50 more, so quite a bit more on the salt per head per day or per bag. But what we're seeing is that the mineral consumption, cattle after they get used to the product and free choice, the minerals that they eat is about 50% less. So we're seeing about a 38% cost savings on a mineral and salt program doing it this way. So once again, excellent, not only on improving animal health and performance, there's some forage utilization, being able to, those minerals able to interact with other minerals that are in the forages, so get more utilization out of that. But then once again, this hits the bottom line, helps the bottom line dollar for the producer. And this is something that we're very excited about. We can use these products for soil application, for a fertilizer, and we have a webinar, and we also, while I'm on this slide, there's also a human grade, so we're able to salt our way to health for table salt and those types of things. We do have a webinar coming up next month in March. I'm still working on the exact day, so keep checking back with us for a webinar on the sea minerals for soil health. And I will go back to this slide, and if you go to agribestfeeds.com, go to your resources and archived webinars, you'll see right there at the bottom of your screen the soil health one. This is where you can find an archive of our past webinars that you can watch it at any point where you want to. Way down at the bottom, if you scroll down, you'll see Salt Your Way to Health by Dr. David Brownstein. That's for human health. You see the sea minerals for soil health on there. There's a horse-focused one on there, and then the number of the cattle-focused ones as well. So just as I finish up here, I want to wrap up with going back to our three-part goal. Remember, we're focused on that animal health and performance, animal benefit, forage utilization, getting the most out of that forage that you have, whether it's your standing grass or hay, and the producer profits. What I want to look at is there's a number of ways that we can impact the bottom line, the profitability and or losses of an operation, any business, regardless of what it is. First, we can look for ways that increase the cost and decrease the revenue. Of course, that's a lose situation. You want to avoid those types of situations at all costs. Another thing that we can have is we can look for ways that we can maybe invest a little bit more, so our cost goes up a little bit, but we get a return on that investment and the revenues go up more. And that's something we need to look at pretty closely and evaluate that very carefully to make sure that the revenue is more than the cost. Another thing that we can do is we can look at how can we cut some corners? Where can we save on some input cost, and yet it may hurt our revenues or our returns, but if it hurts our returns less than the cost savings, then that's something we should look at pretty closely as well. And then, of course, this is the ones that we really look for and can impact the bottom line the best, where it's reducing cost and improving revenue at the same time. And that's one of the things we see here at Agri-Best with the SweetPro products and the Redmond products, is that's what's happening. We're reducing costs. We've got the hay and forage savings. We've got improved health, so our vet bills are going down. Doesn't take as much labor, equipment, or fuel. We're looking at taking this block, this high-tech nutrition in a low-tech dispenser, putting it out once per 10 days or once for 8 or once for 13 days, depending on our feeding program. But there's some savings on that, so it's very cost effective. But what we're seeing on the other side, on the revenue side, we're seeing increased conception rates. We're seeing higher weaning weights, higher average daily gain for those growing cattle, better frame and muscle development. So there's a value at the sale barn for how those calves are looking, and the frame that the feedlots can put the finish on. Or we can go all the way to grass-fed beef if we want to finish them out on the SweetPro blocks on grass. We can do that as well. And of course the benefits from the improved health. So that kind of concludes the formal presentation here, and I want to introduce Dr. Abe Schaefer. He's our panelist, and Dr. Schaefer, I'm going to unmute your microphone here and maybe give us a little bit of feedback on some of your thoughts from the presentation this evening, and we'll let you kind of run with whatever. And in the process, if anybody else has questions, if you want to type them down in your chat, let me go back over to that real quick and highlight that. Down here in your chat, under private, you can go and click on that, and I believe it should come up with Scott Anderson, or you can type your questions in there. Okay, with all that, Abe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Scott. One of the things I've appreciated that you're really developing is this idea of nutrient extension, and I like that way to think about the impact of SweetPro, and it helps us understand, I think, that extension, we really have to evaluate what we're starting with to know how far it can be extended. And so I just want to encourage everybody sort of, if you haven't been thinking in that mindset, to shift to that gear, because it really is a more accurate understanding of what SweetPro does, and understanding that a lot of times, this may not always fit kind of our sales objectives, but there's times when, when you let's say you have this example when you need an extension cord, and it's 12 feet from where you're at to where you need to go, and well, you don't always need a 25-foot cord to do that 12 feet. And similar idea, if you have really good forage, animals are going to eat less supplement, they'll eat less SweetPro. There's that understanding that I think the concept of extension helps folks get to that point. And where I'm at today, or today and for the rest of this week, we're at the National Cattlemen's Association and National Cattlemen's Beef Association meeting and trade show. And so we'll have opportunity to interact with a lot of producers from around the country, some of which I know will know about SweetPro, and sort of looking forward to how folks are going to respond to the concept of pressed distillers block or a pressed distillers supplement compared to the other lick tub supplements that are out there. So I guess, when we have our next webinar, I'll give you an update on how NCBA goes, but that's where we're at. Also recently, just not that this applies a whole lot to the Montana group or the western upper northern Great Plains, but I've spent the first part of this week at the southeastern animal science meetings, and there's again interesting how the SweetPro product fits a lot of different environments for different reasons, and so just to throw that out there, and it might be interesting to bring out some of those points if anybody's interested.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Abe. And so you're down suffering in Tampa area, huh?
Exactly. I'm sacrificing in a crazy way.
We should probably be having our webinar from the beach. Well, maybe you are on the beach. Never mind. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us here. I'm going to leave your mic unmuted.
Sure.
If there's any questions, go ahead and type those in or raise your hand. Doesn't look like the people that are on the phone. You actually have to have dialed in on or have to go back to your start tab, and if you click on that, it gives you your phone number and your passcode to be able to call in and ask your questions live. If anybody has any questions or any comments that you want to text in or chat, go ahead and do that now. I will, without Justin being here, I can ramble pretty good, but not near as good as he can, so we're not going to wait too long. So get your questions in now if you have any, or any comments or thoughts. Once again, if you go over to resources and upcoming webinars on our web page, if you scroll down on this page, you'll see that we've got the Sea Minerals for Soil Health coming. That's going to come in March. I'm just in the process of connecting with Aaron Elison from Redmond Natural Trace Mineral. We've done 4 different trials, and as you can see on the picture down at the bottom of that page, that's one of the trials that was done on dryland wheat over in northeastern Montana, and seeing once again how the Redmond products are decreasing input costs and increasing production. Once again, that's on the Sea Minerals for Soil Health. Okay, just checking to see if there's any questions out there. I don't see any at this point. So, Abe, I'll go back to you. Do you have any closing remarks or anything that we should be kind of preparing for or looking for in our cattle operations, as most people, I suppose, are getting ready or have started calving or getting ready for calving, and looking towards maybe give a brief understanding of positioning ourselves for improved conception rate with the SweetPro products, and how feeding those even prior to calving has some positive results on that from the trial in Georgia.
One of the conversations that I had frequently while at this scientific meeting was that really that 2 and 3 year old cow, so the heifer or heiferette who has a calf is still growing in body size, also has to put on some condition to rebreed. That animal is just in a much more difficult place than a more mature animal is, and just how supplementation for that segment of cows really does have significant benefit long-term for the profitability of a given operation. And how sort of the conversation being that we really overlook those needs on a kind of just over time, we seem to overlook that issue of kind of focusing on the nutrition of our real young cows. And then, of course, some fetal programming things came up, which I was pretty interested in, and that's for another topic, but one that, again, SweetPro addresses a lot of the issues that fetal programming raises. And, getting ready for the rebreeding season, some of the work that has been done and that SweetPro has done shows that supplementing the SweetPro compared to other similar lick tub supplements and a bunk fed supplement from the time frame of 30 days pre-calving through 60 days post-calving, we had a significant increase in conception rates feeding the SweetPro tubs, such that I think that was a 14% increase in pregnancy rate, and we moved up the calving date on that subsequent birth of that subsequent calf. There's a lot of metabolic reasons that could happen, and I can certainly get into those if someone is interested. But supplementation right prior to calving, or that month prior to calving, and then through to when you turn the bulls out, really does have a significant effect in what that next season pregnancy rate and calving rate will be.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch, Abe. Thanks for being on and connecting with us. All right. Any other thoughts or comments, questions? We're see that we've got people on here from Iowa. I guess Abe's down in Florida. We've got Montana, Nebraska. So any questions, go ahead and type your questions in the chat log down there. If not, we'll go ahead and close out here in just a couple of seconds. So maybe raise your hand if you have a question or if you're going to type. Otherwise, we'll call it an evening. We certainly appreciate you investing your time and looking at the SweetPro products. To connect more with SweetPro or with Agri-Best, contact the Agri-Best dealer that invited you on to this webinar, or you can contact us directly. Our phone number is 866-601-6646, or you can go online at agribestfeeds.com. On the home page there, as you scroll down, you can see over on your right-hand side, there's a Get an Estimate tab where you can get an estimate directly on your situation or find a dealer in your area. Also on that home page, over on the left side down towards the bottom, you see, if you scroll down under the video, there's Dr. Abe Schaefer. You can see him at the back of that pickup with Bob Thornburg, the creator of the SweetPro products, and they spend about a half hour there at the back of that pickup just talking about the value and uniqueness of the SweetPro products. And then down at the bottom of the page, you see our commercial that featured Team Roper Clay Tryon, and feel free to click on that and listen to that 30-minute or 30-second commercial. So, all right. Well, I think I want to close things up tonight. Once again, thanks everybody for connecting on with us. I will be at the well, let's see. Let's start off with the Mate Show. We've got the Mate Show coming up, and Agri-Best Feeds will be represented there. I believe Daryl Heidel or Sammy Higgs will be at the Mate Show in Billings next weekend. And then I am heading south towards Nebraska, and I'll be down at the Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic. And, of course, if anybody's down in Tampa or heading down to the National Cattlemen's, stop in and see our SweetPro booth and visit with Dr. Schaefer down there. Thanks so much for attending, and have a great night. Thank you.